A House of Dynamite on Netflix is Academy Award winner Kathryn Bigelow's return to the movies as a director 8 years after her last film Detroit. This film is a pre-apocalyptic political thriller which I believe is a shameless piece of propaganda. Without further ado, let's cut to inside. The film begins with an alarmingly chilling and haunting background score even before the first scene fades in. It's the kind of siren horn pitch that indicates an impending doom. We see soldiers walking around an army launch site whose deserted setting uncannily resembles the US base camp in Afghanistan from Zero Dark 30. After a few casual conversations between a bunch of officers in the control room of this site, we learn through a particularly nervous officer that an intercontinental ballistic missile fired over the Pacific is on its way to continental USA. This is the kind of disastrous nuclear attack which would inspire, justify, and weaponize a series of Zero Dark 30s, if the USA survives. And that is the implication the film deals with as the threat intensifies. The 20 minutes that follow this horrifying revelation until the missile strikes US territory are covered in a Rashomon-style narration with different perspectives. Starting from a senior officer at the White House Situation Control Room who refuses to give up despite deteriorating circumstances. The commander of the US Strategic Command who only gets to business after he has made a comment or two about the game last night. The Secretary Defense of USA whose daughter could be in the same city that is in the direct target range of this missile. An underconfident but intuitive Deputy NSA. And finally, an indecisive President of the United States. A few details stand out right away, like the structure of the screenplay deploying the Rashomon narrative style that originated in Japan. Kurosawa's Rashomon was released exactly 5 years after the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Interestingly, the film is written by Noah Oppenheim. When the president is informed of the potential nuclear strike, he is seen meeting and inspiring a bunch of young girls who are all basketball students, in a nod to George Bush's visit to an elementary school on the day of 9/11. Only this time, the threat is urgent enough for him to leave midway frantically. Speculations are rife in the many important rooms that the film takes place in. Is it Pyongyang, Moscow, Tehran, or Beijing? Or all of them coordinating an attack on the USA, or an accidental push of the button somewhere? Will it even detonate upon landing? To what extent can they negotiate a deal with the potential enemy states to avoid another such attack? The setup is explosive, and the opening act, from the very first perspective of the senior White House officer Olivia Walker, played by Rebecca Ferguson, is thrilling. The film touches on the personal lives of some of these people involved before getting to the most important day in their professional lives. An interesting scene that pits this personal against the professional is when Olivia waits for a colleague to bring back her mobile phone from the locker against protocol so that she can call her husband and save her family in the nick of the time. It tells you if the people responsible for looking after a nation will be able to look out for their own in the face of such a calamity. Does their frontline access as part of their professions become a double-edged sword for them? The idea is full of prospects. But as the other perspectives unfolded, it dawned upon me that the film is a vacant and vapid account of a doomsday event that tries to bait one into the narrative by the posturing of its filmmaking. It is so shockingly oblivious of the socio-political context of the world that we inhabit that I realized as I was watching, A House of Dynamite is a shameless, opportunistic, right-wing, Westworld propaganda film with a 9/11 hangover. Even when the film is anti-war, it is oxymoronically pro-America. For starters, the USA is portrayed as the underprepared victim in this world. There is no introspection as to why an unattributed missile is launched in the direction of America. The filmmaker's commitment to isolating the last 20 minutes before the missile strikes from a larger context is concerning for a political thriller. The impending nuclear attack on the American soil happens to be under a black president who appears to be straight out indecisive and incompetent. These choices are way too suggestive to be counterintuitive in a way that a black president is highest in command in rooms full of all-white senior-most officials. Until we finally see his point of view, which comes last, he comes across as an ineffectual and invisible spectator, just another cog in the wheel of decision-making. This is the kind of disingenuous filmmaking that intends to shape the public opinion in the wrong direction. For a political thriller, it is so far removed from the reality of the day and the consequences of military actions of countries like USA. The people seen in this film scrambling around to save the country are the same people who on another day would be planning how to take down another country. As a result, the technical aptitude of A House of Dynamite is largely undone and rendered irrelevant by the antics and masked ill intentions of its makers. The film can never rise above this basic integral flaw. There are little to no further insights on offer, except a scene where the deputy NSA, effectively played by Gabriel Beso, describes the chances of neutralizing this incoming threat with a counterstrike to be equivalent to that of hitting a bullet with a bullet. The odds are worse than that of a coin toss. This metaphor neatly outlines the chances of tackling such a threat, which is much to the disappointment of the Secretary of Defense, played by Jared Harris, who wonders if this is the best they could achieve with their billions of dollars. On a better day, there could be a better film on how America's defense budget could be put to better use, or one on a post-apocalyptic world without the USA. Alas, today is not that day. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such reviews.